Welcome to the SCLD podcast, where we talk about all the things you can do and find at the library.
Hello, I'm Erin Dodge, the Communication Specialist here at Spokane County Library District. Today with me are two guests from Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington, Jenny Jones, Planning Coordinator, and Tara Hill Matthews, Dementia Resource Catalyst. And today we're discussing Dementia Friends, the dementia programs that are happening at the library, upcoming programs, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. We're excited to talk about dementia.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Now, would you give us an overview of what dementia is and who is affected by it for those folks who are listening or watching who may not know too much about dementia?
Yeah, of course. So dementia is an umbrella term for a lot of diseases that impact memory loss and memory changes.
Okay.
So a lot of people think of dementia as being Alzheimer's disease. A lot of people think of them as the same thing.
Sure.
Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia.
Okay.
And dementia is not all about memory loss. That's another common misconception, but it also encompasses things like trouble with problem solving or trouble with communication, even social withdrawal or changes in behavior and personality.
Okay.
So there's a wide range of symptoms that dementia describes.
Sure.
And it's an increasing problem in Spokane County and across the world, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, it's the fourth leading cause of death in Spokane County. So above things like diabetes, even above COVID-19 in 2020 and 2022.
Wow.
So it's only expected to grow.
Well, sure. Yeah. And as far as who's affected by it, it can almost, anybody could get dementia potentially, and then their communities, their family, their friends would kind of feel the effects of that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're right. Anyone can get dementia. Unfortunately, it doesn't impact all of our communities equally, right?
Yeah.
Black Americans are twice as likely to get dementia than their white counterparts. Hispanic adults are 1.5 times as likely to get dementia. Same with comparing trans adults to cis adults. So trans adults are 1.5 times likely to get it than cis counterparts. So it doesn't impact us all equally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We can go into a whole debate about the medical system and why those factors are the way they are.
Yeah.
But let's focus on what we're doing today.
Sorry, did I get too much into the weeds there?
No,
Okay.
that's great information, and I think it's really important information. And so my mother-in-law, before she passed, had both Alzheimer's and dementia. So it affected her obviously, and affected me. And at one point, she didn't even know who her family she didn't know who her family was, but she didn't know that she had a family. She thought she was 12 years old again. So it was sort of that situation impacted me when I was trying to introduce her to her youngest grandson.
Yeah.
So that was, But anyway.
Well, and what's interesting actually is that women get dementia more than men.
Okay.
They're
twice as likely.
They're outliving, their partners. And so it is.
And as you age,
it's increasing in women
factor.
more than men.
Yeah. So it's a serious topic, but it's also an important topic is what we're saying, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So now what is Dementia Friends, and how are Dementia Friends and ALTQ, or Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington, working towards creating a dementia-friendly community here in Spokane and in the region?
Well, what's really cool about Dementia Friends, and I'm new to this, but it is something that I just really kind of grasp, and I love finding out new things. And so I just went down the rabbit hole of this. And what I like about Dementia Friends is that it brings in community members, and then it's there to help you, whether if you're a care partner for someone with dementia, if you're just a regular old citizen, out in the world, and you come across someone, how you can interact with them and be supportive and help them instead of coming at them in a different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even from communicating to touching somebody to having the space around them.
Sure.
Like that's what Dementia Friends is to help people understand what it is and then how they can communicate and support others with dementia.
All right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
From a practical standpoint, it just takes an hour. So an information session only lasts an hour to become a dementia friend. And at the end, like Jenny was saying, you commit to do something to make your neighborhood or your community more dementia friendly.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. That sounds great. And now we're going to be having some library programs coming up. And one of them is learning how to become a dementia friend. Is that wonderful? What types of things, briefly, could you mentioned kind of touch and how to communicate. Are there other things, a couple quick practical tips you could give potentially right now?
Well, I like the talking part about it.
Okay.
So it's a standard, we talk so fast, right?
Oh, yes.
And so when you're asking a question,
yes,
first off, don't say it fast.
Yes.
And then second off, wait approximately 20 seconds for them to respond.
Okay.
Right? So they have to process all of that.
That's a great advice.
And what is really interesting about when we do the classes is we actually do that 20 seconds and it feels like forever,
so long,
right? But when you're looking at it from the other side, right, it's important and it makes the communication then.
Well, that is such a great tip because when I get nervous, I start talking faster.
Yeah.
I think that's a natural thing. And I was just out in a store the other day and I was trying on some shoes and a woman wanted to try on shoes too, but she said it so fast, like, can you scoot over so we could both sit on the bench? And it wasn't until I noticed her just standing up I'm like, oh, you want to put on some shoes? Okay, sorry. Yeah, come, I'll share with you. But it took me her saying it so fast, I didn't comprehend it, walking around and then putting on the shoe for me to kind of like get through what she had said so quickly and realize what was going on. So, and I don't think I have dementia at this point. So I can just imagine if you're, going through dementia, you have dementia, you're going to need even longer and you're going to need some time to process and respond. So that was a great tip.
Exactly.
All right. Let's talk about the information classes, different types of classes that are happening this summer and fall related to dementia. We have the Dementia Friends where you can have that hour to learn how to be a dementia friend. And then there's a couple other ones, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited about this. I think it's going to be really fun. And thanks to Corinne Wilson for setting all these up.
Librarian Corinne, who's been on the podcast before. Yes.
Yeah, she's been great. And she is part of the Spokane Regional Dementia Friendly Community that we talked about a little bit before. That's a group of volunteers in our community that's all working to make Spokane more dementia friendly.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for being part of that, Corinne. So we have two different types of trainings that we're doing at the library through September and hopefully through the end of the year.
Sure.
We have Dementia Friends that we just talked about.
Right.
But we also have a professional training series that just started yesterday. And that's geared to professionals, but also to caregivers who are providing free care at home, maybe a spouse or a child or something.
Right.
We'd love to see you there at those. We are rotating them between branches.
Okay.
So there should be one close to everyone in the county.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Quick shout out. To see our events, go to scld.org/events. That'll take you to the calendar, keyword dementia, and you will find those events and be able to attend.
Our Tuesday Memory Cafes at North Spokane Library are friendly weekly gatherings that offer a community space for those navigating memory loss and their caregivers. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., stop into the library to connect and participate in activities, all selected to promote mental acuity, health, and wellness. Memory cafes are a comfortable way to connect with other caregivers and people experiencing memory loss. Be part of something special where understanding and support go hand in hand.
So I'm gonna hop on to what do you have kind of happening potentially coming in the works for the Spokane Regional Dementia Friendly Community. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've got a lot coming up.
Okay.
We're excited.
We do. One of the big projects that we're working on is to certify businesses to be dementia friendly.
Oh, okay.
And so we would be providing them with a Dementia Friends training and then also doing a walkthrough of their space just to give them tips. We're not there to audit people or
sure.
punish people or anything like that, but just to give them tips on how they could, support those folks
That's amazing.
coming into their business.
Right.
And then we're going to give them a window cling so that it'll be identifiable then.
Nice.
And a certification. One of the other parts that we're looking at doing with that is then also providing them with a pocket card, just so that if they, the 19-year-old that's bagging groceries, right? Mm-hmm. And seeing something, not really sure how to respond, they can pull that card out, and it's nothing that's going to be like huge, just maybe 5 tips on there to how they could approach the situation and communicate with that person.
Okay, I want that.
Yeah.
I'll take one of those pocket cards.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We're also doing some work with providers in the area. Okay. So we have packets that we give to providers that they can pass along to people who might be starting to experience cognitive changes. We're also really excited. We're working on a training with EMS Connect for first responders.
Wonderful.
So that should be out pretty soon.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
We have a lot of things in the works.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now for people who want, who maybe are experiencing dementia in their family or their community for the first time, and they have questions or they're looking for some additional resources, do you have anywhere to point them of where to go for that?
Yeah. Okay. So I would recommend starting with a couple of places.
Okay.
The first is AllQ, so our agency. We have a great dementia care specialist, Dawn Matlock, who works one-on-one with families to get them resources and connect them with ideas. She's great at brainstorming ideas and troubleshooting.
Great.
Also, the local Alzheimer's Association does a lot of work in our area.
Okay.
And they should be ramping up programs again pretty soon.
Okay, great. And, I'm sure we'll have a lot of those links in our description of the podcast below, so you guys can check those out. All right. Anything else that we didn't hit on that you guys want to talk about today?
Ooh.
Well, first of all, we want to encourage people to come to the library and learn more, even if, you're not experiencing dementia in your family, your community, but you want to learn more. Definitely come to the library, come to the programs, learn to be a dementia friend, all of that good stuff. So definitely we want to encourage that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and I would want to say as just a new person and like going through the training, and I'm sure Tara could tell you all about all the questions that I have for her, the stuff that I come up with, but it was astounding what I didn't know. And then like what is happening in our community. And then to even take it back to myself and my family, right? And be like, wow, this is a huge concern. And I heard the other day that this was going to be like a nationwide crisis in the future at some point. If we don't do something now, it's just going to build. And so that's what I've taken away from it is just in the 6 months that I've been there, this has just been like eye-opening for me. And I love it.
Yeah. And again, it's an hour of your time and you're in a safe space in a community room at the library and learning great information. So
yeah.
Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for all these upcoming programs. They all sound great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Yes. Appreciate it.
Sorry. One more thing I want to
say.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Is that I think a lot of people are worried about memory loss in themselves.
Absolutely.
They're worried to acknowledge it. They're worried to, or they don't know all the signs of dementia. And ironically, if you acknowledge them and get a diagnosis, that actually lets you live independently for longer in most cases.
That was the case with my mother-in-law where they didn't recognize it. And the doctor said, well, if we had kind of caught this 3 or 4 years earlier, there were some things they could have done, some medication or something they could have done to
clinical trials, lifestyle changes,
some different things to help her. Again, live more independently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a tough situation.
It is tough. It is tough.
But
also my sister-in-law, it was a registered nurse. And so she unfortunately, but she took on the burden of being her caregiver at the end. So something I could never, totally grateful for. So
Yeah. Caregiving can be really difficult.
it's
but
tough.
Rewarding experience. Yeah.
Yep, but rewarding.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. We do also at the library have our Tuesday memory cafes at North Spokane Library at 11 a.m. And so that's for people experiencing memory loss and their caregivers. And there's like games and activities and support and socialization and snacks. So I just wanted to shout that out. That's something that folks can go to weekly and find some support for that, because I know that can be hard too. So
Yeah. The Memory Cafe is awesome.
yeah.
And anyone who's looking for dementia programs, we also publish a calendar every month with all the dementia programs that we know about. So
Great.
if you want to add things to them or look at those, then those are available.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you do for Dementia Friends, for everything that Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington does, and for partnering with the library. You guys do amazing work.
We're excited.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
And thank you for listening and watching today, and we will see you next time.